All right, so that's enough talk about the Bucks, about the NBA. We got to get to what everybody's here for. Ted Lasso. Now this is your warning, spoiler warning. We're going to be talking about the show. Hopefully
Spoilers.
Hopefully you've seen it all. If you haven't, you'll have to pause, go binge it, and then come back and listen. But
yep.
Ted Lasso, great show. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say, just to start it out, it's the best. There's nothing that compares to it. It sucks that there's only going to be 3 seasons. I mean, I think they may be able to go on without Ted, but that doesn't seem likely. So
a lot of rumors of spin-offs, but it doesn't seem like Ted would be in.
Yep, but I've got the believe sign on my desk. I've got the believe sign taped to my office door. I've got the believe sign on my car or my truck, and so I'm 100% all in with this show. I absolutely love it. I love it.
It makes sense because every time I watch that show and I see Ted, it reminds me of you. Just like this super annoyingly optimistic, happy person.
That's me.
Yep. He's like, oh man, if anybody that hasn't watched it, you got to watch it. It's just like such a feel-good show. There's not many shows that are like that anymore. It's a comedy, but it's super emotional too. It's just, everybody will enjoy it. It's about soccer, but by no means does that mean you shouldn't watch it. Like, gets you invested right away, and his positivity, and it's very infectious. So it was a really fun show to watch.
And I mean, like even they say like it's not a soccer show. It's more of an office space sitcom show.
Mm-hmm.
So with soccer included into it. So there's a lot of life talk in there, a lot of mental health talk, which is really interesting, and definitely something that hasn't really been shown in other shows like the way that it's being showed in Ted Lasso. Just the overall like arc of characters is really interesting, with the exception of Nate the Great. I think that was the only downfall of the show. If I want to give anything a negative, was probably that. But I mean, you got Rebecca's storyline, Ted's, Beard's, Roy's, Jamie's is probably he's probably the MVP of character arc there.
Jamie Tart, Jamie Tart. I didn't want to cut you off, but we're actually rewatching the show with my roommates right now, and we're in the first season. And I asked, who's your guys' favorite character so far? And my roommate Michelle said Nate, and I was like, oh my god. Nate is terrible. I mean, no, but he redeems himself, and
he does.
It's a good arc, but yeah.
And I get it. I thought I was really pulling for him to be the manager at the end, but I get why he's not. So
yeah.
So
like we said, spoilers, but
spoilers.
Roy Kent, another icon. He ends up being the manager at the end as Ted leaves the club and goes back to America to be with his son, his family. I get what you mean. They really did a good job of making Nate super likable, and you rooted for him in the beginning. Then complete opposite, he became the worst. You hated him, and then slowly over the end of the show, they bring him back and try and redeem him. Yeah, it was a really good show.
Yeah, I mean, season 2 is like the Empire Strikes Back kind of deal, and like it's a little bit darker than it is season 1, and but no, the way that they ended it, season 3, I mean, I thought going into season 3 and all the way before the last episode, I'm like, okay, we can do this without Ted. We can make it work. I want to watch more of this with all the other characters, because they had been doing a really good job of not really having Ted in a lot of those later episodes, where it was a lot more of the other storylines coming into fold. And but then the way that they ended season 3, it was like, it's such a good storybook ending that it. Yeah, it's like, it's hard for me to be like, yes, we need to have more, because that, I mean, it wrapped up everything the way it needed to be wrapped.
Yeah, I agree. And going into the last season, for me, I didn't look at anything. I avoided all spoilers, didn't keep track of any of the rumors. So I didn't know that they were thinking about potentially doing spin-offs or potentially continuing it. I thought that season 3 is just the end no matter what. And watching it that way made it hit even more. It was, so I do think they ended it very well, and they should just leave it as it is, because you got to leave people wanting more. You don't want to like overstay your welcome, you know?
Yeah, I know.
There's been too many shows like that where they go on a little too long, they get worse, and it kind of taints the show. Ted Lasso definitely went out on top. So that's kind of how I feel, at least.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I mean, I think like that. So again, spoilers, but the end of the last episode, Keely and Rebecca talk about the women's team and starting that. And it's like, well, that could be an interesting sort of spin-off that's not really well, I mean, not necessarily comparable to the show, but being able to get almost a whole new cast. For that's that's completely separate than whatnot, and then adding cameos to it with Rebecca, Keely, and whatever have you. But I thought that might be interesting, instead of the way they just do it without Ted, with the cast that they have now with the original team. But
personally, I'm not interested in them continuing on without Ted and just sticking with the men's team. Just because I feel like they wrapped up everybody's character arc very well. And with the women's team, it would be like a whole new cast with Rebecca and Keely. I would be down for that, but I think with the men's team, I think where they left it was good.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
So we'll talk a little bit more. Just want to let everybody know we're going to be doing a ranking of our top 5 Ted Lasso characters. So stick around for that. And then
not including Ted.
Oh, that's new.
Ted's out.
I didn't know that was happening.
Ted's out. Yeah. Everyone loves Ted. Come on. That would be my number 1.
I think we should include him then. No.
All right.
And then we're also going to rank our top 5 sitcoms. So yeah, stick around to the end for that. But yeah, Ted Lasso, anything else you want to add? What was your favorite moment you'd say? There's a lot to choose from. It's kind of hard.
There's so many moments to choose from. I think the absolute funniest thing was in season 3. I can't remember the episode, but the one where they're...
I think I know what you're going to say. Okay, go ahead.
Where they got the string. Got the string. They're stringed together.
Yeah,
that's the best.
The funniest episode. Julia and I were sitting in bed just dying laughing.
You couldn't stop laughing. You couldn't.
So,
I mean,
backstory behind it.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, it was hilarious. Backstory behind it for anybody who hasn't watched. Ted, the coach, he's trying to teach the team a new offense. And in order to do it, all the players kind of need to be connected. So his bright idea... or whose idea was it? One of the coaches.
It was Roy's.
Okay. Of course. Their idea was to tie their privates together with string. And they're running around on the field. all connected. And yeah, it was hilarious. One of the funniest.
They're running into each other,
they're
stretching
terrified.
the string out.
They're terrified to separate because they don't want to deal with any of the damages.
And then right at the end, Ted runs into him and forgets about the string and knocks out 2 of the guys that are connected to it. Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, Jamie Tart. He's like checking to see if it's still there.
Oh, yeah, because the string got ripped off.
The string got ripped off. Yeah. Also, kind of unintentionally funny. Do you see the size of the hole for the string is like super small? Oh god.
Yeah, that was funny.
Really funny. Definitely my.
What about you? What was your favorite?
That was my top funny moment.
Yeah.
But let's see. It's really hard to think of like a favorite moment. There were a lot of emotional moments. Season 3, I think, definitely got me more than the other seasons. I don't know. You have one on your mind? I'll think while you go if you have one.
I mean, there was a bunch of emotional moments for sure. I mean, all of Ted's moments with mental health. I mean, that was really interesting, really unique. I think one of the really cool ones was Rebecca's dad's funeral. I think that's probably the one that most sticks out to me, where they're all singing the song. You remember that?
No. Dang. I'm on my rewatch, so I'll be there soon.
Golly. But yeah, it's
But yeah, that's a huge bonding moment for Ted and Rebecca, both going through something similar like that, losing a parent. Yeah. I just we're on our rewatch, and I just finished the episode where Ted's throwing darts against Rupert. You remember that one? Oh yeah.
Be curious and not judgmental.
Yep, exactly.
Goodness. That is that is a top one for me.
Super powerful scene. I remember watching it through the first time. That was the moment that got me hooked on the show. Because it starts off kind of slow, just like every show does. You introduce the characters, get to know them. And Ted's got all these one-liners and super optimistic, happy guy. So you understand the whole thing. But that moment is like the first real moment where you feel that emotion in the show, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, it really got me hooked.
No, I mean... And of course, I'm the optimistic, crazy excitement type of guy where, first episode, I was 100% all the way in. But I thought it was really cool that throughout each of the seasons, and more so in season 3, of where season 1, Ted's from the States, has never coached soccer in his life, and is coaching in the Premier League for the first time ever, like the biggest professional soccer league that there is in the world, but specifically in Europe. But and no one believes in him. Everyone is just doubting him from the start, and no one gives him any credit or nothing. And then you get through all the seasons, and, he has his quotes and lines, and his funniness, and, charisma, and all that stuff. And at the end of, that last episode specifically, everyone is just locked in, and everyone believes, and everyone is just totally, they see the picture now. It was like only Ted could see it.
They adopted the Lasso way.
Everyone else, yeah. They finally saw it. And I thought what was really cool too, like how we talk about the Lasso way, and then with Trent Crimm's book, and showing that to Ted, Ted's like, no, it's not my way. It's the Richmond way.
Yeah. Ted, the insufferable, amazing person.
I think it's really cool to be able to, just be able to leave that behind and have that sort of continue on without you. Like that generational, like it just continues on forever. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah. And in the last episode, they had so many callbacks to the beginning of the show. It was great. Like you see him doing the dance at the end with his team. That's in the very first episode. That was great. I was waiting so long for that. On the plane, you see the guy who asks for an Ussie.
Yes.
The dude who, it's not a selfie, it's an Ussie. He's in the first episode, and he sees him on the way. Sees him in the airplane, and then in the last episode, he sees him again as he's leaving. Man, what else was there? There were a lot of callbacks. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I love when shows do that. They end it with something that they started the show with. It was perfect.
Yeah, no, it was, all in all, but it's a top show for me.
Yeah.
It's the one.
I think the thing I liked most about the show was Roy and Jamie's relationship. I think Roy is hilarious. I feel like I'm Roy. I'm super angry. Super angry all the time. Got the beard, hair, chest, but watching their relationship play out was awesome. I think that was my favorite part. They go from mortal enemies to best friends, but they don't, at least Roy doesn't want to admit it. We'll forget about the end of the season when they fight over Keeley again.
With Keeley,
we'll forget about that. But overall, their relationship arc over the 3 seasons was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it was really neat to be able to kind of understand Jamie's background a little bit more in season 3 on, with his mom's side and, being able to kind of understand that stuff. It was more of kind of always the negative stuff on his dad's side and whatnot. And, being able to see that perspective of him in season 3 was really neat.
Yeah, definitely made it hit home more, realizing like, oh, this dude, he's not just this jerk. He actually had to go through a lot of stuff in his life, and that's why he is the way he is. So yeah, just another great example of why Ted Lasso is such a great show. Everything they did
and
hit.
And that's not even talking about Sam's stuff, like all Sam's of that stuff, and Rebecca,
and
Higgins,
Colin,
and Colin with Trent. Yep.
It seems like every single character, they ended up having a good storyline, like with some serious emotion to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Mountain Faith.